Good morning to all of you. So today I will discuss about the laboratory and malnutrition, nutrient requirement of mice, rat, rabbit, and guinea pig. So in this class, I will discuss about the nutrient requirement of laboratory animal and diet formulation, preparation, and feeding practices of laboratory animals. So what are the advantages of laboratory animal for experiment? Before coming to the topic, I would say something about what are those advantages for doing experiment on laboratory animal, such as live animals are easy to handle. This is very important advantage, and that cost less labor for doing the research, less manpower required. It is cost effective, and there is wide variation of a species. This is one of the also important advantages, variation in the species. And lab animals are suitable for biomedical research, for health research, or human research. So before introducing any medicines or purified source of the nutrients or any purified diet, they need experiment on animals. So they go for the animal trials before introducing for human population or human health concern. So such biomedical research, the lab animal is very much useful for doing the trials on medicines and any chemicals that are required for the unrelated with the human health. Lab animals have fast absorption of nutrients. The gut of live animals absorbs the nutrients very fast and they give result very quickly and less time consuming to getting the result. And they are suitable for purified diet experiment. Purified means the single source of the nutrient like glucose, fructose, casein, any antibiotics, etc. And there is wide genetic variation among the different species of laboratory animals. So this is also one of the important advantage, that genetic variation is very wide among the species. That will help in doing the research in biomedical field. And statistically suitable because the number of availability of animal is, and to getting the number of animal is, more number of animal is easy. And we can do trials on large number of animal and large number of groups of the animals. So the data is more statistically suitable and less chance of the error. And repetition of experiment is also easy in case of laboratory animal. Sometimes experiment got failed and some repetition required between the groups. So repetition is easy in case of live animal when we compare with higher species of the animals. And slaughter study, when we perform the slaughter studies, in case of live animal, it is easy to do the slaughtering of animal and for examination of the organs is easy in case of laboratory animal. So these are the some important advantages of doing research on lab animals. Now coming to the factors which determine the nutrient requirement of laboratory animals. What are those factors which affect the nutrient requirements? Such as category of animals. So what category means what they eat. Either they omnivores, they herbivores or carnivores. So this category of habit of feeding affect the nutrient requirement of live animal. Second factor is a species of animal, which species they belongs. Sex of the animal, either male or female. Age group of the animal, this is very much important. Age group of the animal, because according to the age, body weight is differ. Age increases, body weight increases. So we should formulate the ration according to the age and body weight. So this is one of the important factor that affect the nutrients requirement of the live animals. Physiological condition of the animal. That means under which physiological condition the animals are lying. Either in growing condition, adult condition, pregnant condition, lactating condition, or other physiological condition, what condition they have. So that physiological condition affect the nutrient requirement of laboratory animal, and we plan the diet according to the physiological condition and age of the animals. So coming to the nutrient requirement of rat and mice. According to Bureau of Indian Standards, the compound feed which should be prepared for lab animals like rat and mice, they should contain moisture 10% maximum, crude protein minimum 24%, crude fat or ether extract maximum 5%, crude fiber maximum 6%, total ash maximum 9%, acid insoluble ash means sand and silica maximum 1%. Calcium minimum 0.6% and available phosphorus minimum 0.3%. So these are the specification for formulation of the diet or a standard for formulation of the ration of rat and mice. Accordingly, these as per the requirement, we can formulate the ration according to this standard for rat and mice. And energy requirement, that means metabolizable energy, is around 3800 kilocalorie per kg of the diet. Now coming to the nutrient requirement of guinea pig. A guinea pig is a herbivore animals, and very unique characteristics of guinea pig is they practice coprophagy, psychotropy. So they are hindgut fermenter and they perform coprophagy. And the nutrient requirement of a guinea pig diet, that means ME requirement is 2800 kilocalorie per kg, protein percentage 18%, fiber 15%. Guinea pig require high amount of the fibers. They can digest up to 15% of the fiber. Calcium requirement is 0.8 to 1%. Phosphorus is 0.4 to 0.7%. Zinc requirement is 20 milligram per kg of the diet, and iron requirement is 50 milligram per kg. And very much important, I would like to say that 1 gram of vitamin C per kg of ration, which needs to be supplemented in the diet. And vitamin C is dietary essential in case of guinea pig. So we must remember that 1 gram vitamin C per kg of the ration should be supplemented in the diet of the guinea pig. Because guinea pig cannot synthesize vitamin C in the body. So dietary supplementation is must in case of guinea pig as per their requirement. And the nutrient requirement for different category of rabbit. Rabbit is also a monogastric herbivore, high in gut fermentation, and they also practice coprophagy. And they are able to tolerate up to 15% of the crude fiber. So like similar to guinea pigs. And they have the nutrient requirement varies according to the stages of the life. That means growing rabbit, lactating dose, pregnant dose, resting adult, mixed breeding dose. So the crude protein requirement for growing rabbit is 16%, lactating is 18%, pregnant 16%, resting adult 13%, and mixed breeding 17%. Like that, metabolizable energies in kilocalorie per kg, 2400 kilocalorie per kg, 2500 kilocalorie per kg, and in case of resting adult 2120 kilocalories, and mixed breeding dose 2410 kilocalorie is required. Crude fat requirement is almost 3% in all the stages of the life. Crude fiber is vary between the 12 to 16%, and the standard is up to 15%. They can tolerate up to 15% of the crude fiber. Calcium requirement in case of rabbit is vary from the 0.4 to 1.1%, as well as requirement varies from 0.3 to 0.8% in different stages of the rabbit. It depends on the stage of the life. So now coming to the diet preparation for laboratory animals. There are different kinds of the diet we should offer to the lab animals. Mainly 3 types of the diet. That is natural diet, semi-synthetic diet, and synthetic diet or purified diet we can say. So in case of natural diet, which is prepared from the natural source of the ingredients. That includes cereals, legumes, wild cakes, fruits, vegetables, and roughages. In case of semi-synthetic diet, they includes combination of natural and purified ingredients. Purified ingredient means source of the starch, sugars, casein, fat, vitamins, and different kind of minerals. And when we talk about the synthetic diet or purified diet, that means the diet which is prepared from a combination of purified protein, amino acids, carbohydrate, fat, minerals, and vitamins. There is no natural source here. Now coming to the rat and mice feeding. So rat and mice are omnivore. They eat plant material as well as non-veg or meat product. They required always clean water all the time, and pellet feed are preferred by rat and mice. But the size of the pellet should be 3 to 4 mm in diameter, and length should be 8 mm in length of the pellet. It should not be more than that. And the diet of the rat and mice, which contains seed and nuts, are not preferred or not recommended. So seed and nuts are not recommended for feeding or offering to the rat and mice because it contains high amount of the fat and oils, which defer the protein level of the ration. So, and its utilization. So we should prevent or we should avoid to feed the seeds and nuts to the rat and mice. What about the feed intake by the rat and mice per day? In case of adult mice, they will eat 4 to 5 gram per day. In case of adult rat, they will eat 12 to 15 gram per day. So there is large variation between the feed intake in rat and mice. What kind of feed they preferred? Pellet feed preferred by the rat and mice, and the size I have discussed, that should be 3 to 4 mm in diameter and not longer than 8 mm in length of the pellet. So now I would like to discuss about the sample diets of the feeding for feeding rat and mice. That means what ingredient, while preparing the ration of the rat and mice, what kind of ingredient we should take for formulation of the ration, and what should be the level of inclusion or quantity. So we can take ground wheat middling, ground corn, corn gluten meal, soybean oil, dehydrated alfalfa meal, soybean meal, fish meal, dried molasses, dicalcium phosphate, limestone powder, salt, common salt, and a solid not fat of the dry milk. So these are the ingredients. By taking these ingredients in different concentration, we can prepare the diet of the rat and mice. Now coming to the guinea pig feeding. As we are aware about that, the guinea pig are herbivore and they require plenty of grass hay, green, that means green grass, and limited amount of concentrate we have to feed the guinea pig. And they have continuous growing incisor and molar teeth. So which bears down with the normal action of eating. And they perform psychotrophy and they produce nutrient-rich psychotrop. This they eat directly from the anal area for optimum utilization of feed or nutrient present in the feed that are not utilized completely in the body. They expelled as psychotrophs and they consumes or sucks directly from the anus, and they recycle it for further absorption of the nutrient or utilization of the nutrients. So guinea pig consumes around 20 to 30 grams per day in case of growing guinea pig feed. In case of adult guinea pig, they consume 30 to 50 grams per day of feed. And pregnant and lactating guinea pig, they consume 40 to 60 grams per day feed. So this much feed is required per day in case of guinea pig. And very much important, I have discussed earlier that vitamin C, 1 gram vitamin C per kg of the ration is must in case of the guinea pig, or we can say that the minimum daily requirement for vitamin C in the guinea pig is 10 to 30 milligram per day. 10 to 30 milligram per day. And the requirement of vitamin C can be fulfilled by providing dark leafy green. 1 cup dark leafy green, that will fulfill the vitamin C requirement in case of guinea pig, because leafy green is the good source of vitamin C. And when we provide leafy green, then the requirement of great vitamin C will be fulfilled in case of the guinea pig. And the supplementation of vitamin C in water is not very much effective in case of guinea pig due to the rapid breakdown of nature of vitamin C. And when they exposed to light and heat, they denature. So always provide leafy green source to the guinea pig to fulfill the requirement of vitamin C. So what are the diet for growing guinea pigs, and what ingredients should be taken for preparation of or formulation of diet for guinea pig? So alfalfa meal, groundnut wheat, ground oats, soybean meal, ground limestone powder, common salt, iodized salt, dicalcium phosphate, soybean oil, mineral and vitamin mixture. So by that way, taking these ingredients, we can formulate the diet for guinea pig, and these content that should contain 2800 kilocalorie ME and 18%, minimum 18% protein. Now coming to the feeding of rabbit. So rabbit are herbivores and they require plenty of roughages and limited amount of the concentrate like guinea pig. And they have continuously growing incisor and molar also like guinea pig, and they produce nutrient rich psychotrop that will be consumed directly from the anus area. So they have similar feeding habit like guinea pig. So how they are producing the psychotrops and how they are consuming. So I would like to discuss here. The proximal colon has dual function. And if the content of cecum that enters the colon in early morning, they undergoes few chemical changes and becomes pilate, which is coated with mucus. And these pellets gather into a cluster, not single one. These pellets gather into a cluster, and that are known as soft pellet or night pellets or psychotrops. So at other time of the day, the solid part of the food that are rich in the fibers or larger part of the fibers that forms hard pellet and is excreted out, that are not forming the cluster. They are single pellets and which is excreted out. And hard pellet are expelled directly. However, the soft pellet are recovered from the anus area immediately, and they suck the soft pellet, and without chewing they swallow it, and they goes for recycling to utilize the optimum nutrient and to utilize the optimum food by recycling it. And this is the habit of guinea pig and rabbit. So to do this, rabbit twists itself around, suck on the soft pieces, and they swallow without chewing. And by the end of morning, there are large number of soft pellet accumulated inside the stomach. So they suck all the soft pellets and reutilize or recycle it for getting more nutrients. Because these soft pellets are nutrient rich, they are rich in volatile fatty acids, they are rich in protein, microbial protein, they are rich in vitamins and other minerals as well as different nutrients. So the some part of the feed which may be recycled up to 4 times. And this process of recycling of feces or psychotroph in order to complete the digestion of the nutrients and absorption of the nutrients of the feed is known as psychotrophy. So this is about the psychotrophy. Now coming to the feeding of rabbit as per their stage of development. Different stage of the life, and rabbit, they needs to be fed differently at different stage of life to ensure optimum growth rate, to ensure health of the rabbit and proper digestion of the feed and getting optimum weight, body weight. So there is also one important things to note here. We should not change the diet suddenly and always avoid to change the diet suddenly. We can change the diet, but we should take slowly and should take some time to change the complete diet. Always provide clean water to the rabbit. So now I would like to discuss about the feeding of kids. That means baby rabbit. And baby rabbit or kids that feed solely on its mother milk for first 3 weeks of age. And after 3 weeks, the kid will start nibbling on feed which is offered to the mother. So by 7 weeks of the age, the kid can be fed similar diet as the adult rabbit offered. And weaning practice is followed in case of rabbit by 8 weeks of the age. So feeding of juveniles, that means between weaning and 7 months of age, the young rabbit can have an unlimited amount of feed, both roughage and concentrate. So we should provide ad libitum feeding to the juvenile rabbit. And that diet should contain roughage as well as concentrate. In case of young rabbit, that is age group of 7 months to 1 year, we should introduce grass hay and it should be available all the times. And little concentrate we can also offer to the young adult rabbit. And in case of mature adult, we should provide hay or grasses and reduce the concentrate, and we should maintain the concentrate feed as per the maintenance diet required in case of mature adult. In case of pregnant and lactating dogs, ad libitum feeding of the hay or grasses is recommended, as well as 200 grams of the concentrate per dose per day will be recommended. So coming to the feed intake by the rabbit, and the dry matter requirement in case of rabbit is 3.8 to 4% of the body weight per day, but it might be increased, which is based on the growth and production performance of the rabbit. So in case of growing rabbit, after weaning, we should offer 100 gram per day. Resting dose, we should offer 150 gram. Dose in gestation, 250 grams daily. Nursing dose, 250 grams daily. And dose with litter of 7 to 8, we should offer 1 kg or 1000 grams per day. So what are the common feedstuffs generally used for rabbit feeding? That is green roughages we can use. Under green roughages, grasses, beets, leafy vegetables, root crops like carrot, sweet potato, turnip, beets, they prefer by the rabbit, and cereal grains and their byproduct like oat, wheat, barley, corn, rice, and wheat bran, rice bran, we can use it for preparation of the concentrate feed. And hay like leguminous or non-leguminous sources. Protein supplement, wild cakes or pulses we can use, and common salt. So these are the common feedstuffs that will be used for preparation of the diet of rabbit. So when we talk about the complete feed of rabbit, there is different ingredients, and we can prepare a diet for the rabbit like cowpea hay. We can take 30 grams, maize 28 grams, de-oiled rice bran 25 grams, groundnut cake 15 grams, mineral mixture 1.5 grams, and salt 0.5 grams, which contains 16% DCP and 68% TDS. So accordingly, we can prepare the complete feed of the rabbit to feed the rabbit. So as we know that the incisor and molar teeth of the rabbit is continuously growing, so feed that requires little chewing that produce uneven tooth and causing enamels to grow on the side of the teeth. So these growing spikes which cause severe oral pain and excessive salivation, and also they reluctant to chew the food items, and under such conditions the rabbit are unable to close the mouth, and due to that there is reduction in food intake. So once the food intake goes down, the performance of the rabbit will affected directly. So we should remember that in addition to roughage, rabbit can be provided with chew stick. So we should provide a chew stick to the rabbit that made up of wood or any safe material that will not harm the rabbit. So it is desirable while feeding the rabbits. And the feed efficiency of rabbit is 2.5:1. So this is all about the feeding of laboratory animals, and thank you for attending these classes of lab animal nutrition. Thank you very much.